Hey, this is Philip from Barkley. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to generate an engagement report from your BuddyBoss website. So it could be BuddyBoss, it could be BuddyPress, it could even be an e-commerce WordPress website that is just running WooCommerce or anything, as long as it's just a WordPress website. How do you pull data out of your WordPress website so that you can kind of create this visual representation, a way to visualize your data and see what's happening within your WordPress site. But in this case, I'm going to be using BuddyBoss platform as my use case in this tutorial. What I want to do is I want to pull all of the engagements that are happening within my BuddyBoss platform and the BuddyBoss app and put that in a visual dashboard where I can actually go and see the level of engagement. Because in any community, as a community manager, you want to be ahead of the game. You want to, keep track of how people are engaging with your platform, the contents that they are consuming, how they are interacting with your forums, your discussions, and the different contents that you are literally, offering on your platform. But the challenge that a lot of people face is that there is no real way for you to actually visualize that data in WordPress. So I'm going to show you how to do that, how to create that. But before we get started, let me quickly show you exactly what we're going to be looking at today. We're going to jump in here. This is exactly what I'm going to be creating today. This is a dashboard that I have created in a platform called Airtable. I'm sure most of you must have heard about this, but Airtable allows you to do a whole bunch of really cool stuff. But here I've created a dashboard, and in this dashboard you can see here that I'm pulling in all of the engagements with my forum discussions. So in my community, I have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 forums. Now I want to see how those forums are performing, how are people responding, replying, the number of topics that are being created or started by community members, and how each of those topics are sort of getting engagement. And so in this case, you can see here, I've come in here, I have set my all-time engagement. So there are about 22 engagements within this platform. And then here I'm tracking the number of unique participators for 30 days. So for me, I set a goal that every 30 days, I want to see at least 20 unique community members that get engaged or sort of interact with our discussions within our forums. Because as a community manager, you need to set this goal so that you would actually know how your community is doing, if you need to create more content, if there are certain awareness campaigns that you want to run to be able to get people to start engaging with your community. And then here I'm tracking goals. So here the goal is 40 total engagements per 30 days. So here we're hitting 22, and all of this metric is being put dynamically from my BuddyBoss website and the app. And so here I have a bar chart that is kind of showing me, the number of engagements or replies per forum. Then you can also display that in a pie chart, and you can have also a number chart. And then here you can also, like here I have a filter that I've set here. With this filter, I can actually drill down to specific forums. Now, mind you, I'm just working with forums. Now, you can do the same thing for groups. You can, set up a dashboard that is tracking the number of engagements within your groups. You can drill down to specific groups, but in this case here, I'm going to drill down to this specific forum called Social Impact. Now, once I drill down, you can see that the dashboard has just changed. Now, it's showing me only the data that is pertains to this forum called Social Impact. Now, if I were to, S out, it's showing me everything right now. But now I'm just drilling down to Social Impact, and I can even go to a specific topic within that forum. So in this case, I can go here. This one is 0, and here this one is 0. I think I've got a bunch of them here. Yep. So you can literally track what is going on within each of those specific forums, and then you can filter things by date. So within a date range, so if I want to see the level of engagement that happened on or before, say a month ago, Now I can track that, right? So how do you do this? Now let me show you how I created this, because I'm sure this is really going to be helpful for a lot of you to be able to start pulling real engagement data from your community platform. Now, the tools that I use, let's start with the tools first. The first tool here is Airtable. You need Airtable. So Airtable, I mean, they have a free solution. Airtable is a really cool, think of it as a glorified spreadsheet or Google Sheets or Excel sheet. But this time around, you have the capacity to sort of use the data in that sheet, in your Google Sheet or whatever, in your Airtable sheet to sort of build a visualization of your data using Airtable's interfaces, right? And the other tools that you need is either Uncanny Automator or Automator WP. So because the game plan here is there is a lot of data that Automated WP or Uncanny Automator pulls out of the BuddyBoss platform. So let's look at their BuddyBoss integration, right? So you see here, this is Uncanny Automator. This is the same thing with Automated WP. So it doesn't matter whichever one is your preferred tool that you use. What I found is that Automated WP has a lot more triggers than Uncanny Automator, but depends on what works for you. But any of them would work. So here, let's look at the triggers, because it's really the trigger that matters here in this community metrics dashboard that I'm going to build. So you can see here all the triggers in Automated WP, things like when a user creates an account, when the user gets suspended. So all of these triggers, there are about 56 of them. This is gold. This is data. This is a huge, I'll call this like the oil, the gold of your BuddyBoss platform, because you can use all of these things to track engagement in your community platform. Same thing with Automated WP, right? So everything here can be used. Now for this tutorial, I'm going to be creating a discussion metric dashboard that shows me the level of engagement within my forums or the discussion forums or even the forums that are within a group. I want to see how people are engaging, with the topics and having conversations and dialoguing, within my community platform. So, like I said, you need Airtable, either Uncanny Automator or Automated WP. Any of these will work. So this is what we're going to do. So to start with, first of all, we're going to go to Airtable. Now, when you come into Airtable, you're going to go ahead and create a base. So let's create a base from the scratch. So let's go over here. Now we're going to create a base. Let me name this base BuddyBoss discussion metric data, right? That's what we're going to name this base. I'll leave that at blue. That's my favorite color. And then the next thing we want to do here is we want to set the columns. Okay. Now, what data do we need? So we're gonna need a couple of things, and I'll show you real quick. So let's jump into WordPress. So I'm gonna go to my WordPress dashboard. So here in my WordPress dashboard, these are the metrics that I'm going to pull that is related to forums. So I'm going to set up a recipe. In this recipe, I'm basically saying, hey, when a user replies to a topic, any topic in any forum in my BuddyBoss platform, then I want you to send a webhook. Now, I'm going to talk about this webhook later on, but I want to show you what we need. So we need to, send this data, the forum title, forum ID, the topic that they reply to, and the topic ID. And then we need the first name and the last name, the member's name and last name, the date, and then the avatar URL. And then there's this other thing here called reply count. Now, how did I map this up? I'm going to talk about this, but let's first of all jump to Airtable. So what I'm going to do in Airtable is I'm going to create a table in Airtable right here. So I'm going to first of all rename, I just use this. I'll call this forum. Call this forum ID. And then the next one, I just said did this, and I'll call this form. Of course, I want this to be single line text. Or actually, let's make this a drop down because it's fine. Let's just, I'll do this later on in the video. So let's say form, and here it says assignee. We're gonna edit this. We're gonna change this to single line text, and we're gonna call this topic ID. And then this one, yeah, a single line text here. I'm gonna call this topic and save. And then I'll add another one here. This one is gonna be so I need this, that, first name, last name, reply count. All right, so let's go here and I'll do member. So I'll call this member. Call this that. And then the next one is going to be reply count. I'll explain these things later. And then I'm gonna jump in here, which other one? So we need current date and the avatar URL. So you can see it's exactly the same thing. I'm naming this here. So we're gonna jump in here and we're gonna do avatar. Actually, let's say date, and this is gonna be a date field, and I'm gonna set this as friendly. I'm gonna create that, and let's go ahead and create this one. This one is gonna be avatar, and then I'm going to, now for the avatar, I'm going to set the avatar to, instead of making this a single line text, I'm going to set this as an attachment because I want to have the picture of the person show up here. So I'm going to set this as an attachment, and I'm going to create that field. Now, yep, so I got everything I need here. So that's all you need to do here in Airtable, just to prepare your Airtable base. So in Airtable, this is called the base, and within the base, you're gonna have your data, and then you're gonna have another one called automations and then interfaces. So data is where you're gonna pull in all of the data in the form of a spreadsheet, and then automations is things that you can run, automations that you can run on this data. And then interfaces is where we're gonna start creating our dashboard. Okay, so right now, what we now need to do is we need to send a webhook. So if you go to automations, we're going to set up an automation. Let me rename this to say webhook. All right, so the trigger for this webhook is going to be, for this automation is when a webhook is received. So I'm going to click here when a webhook is received. Now, right here, you're going to see the webhook URL, and I'm going to copy this. Now let's jump to WordPress. Now here in WordPress, I've gone ahead and created a recipe in Automator, Uncanny Automator. So you can still do the same thing with Automator WP. So let's go to Automator WP here. Excuse me. And then we're gonna go to automations. Let me see if I have one. Set webhook here. Now, so let's just create a new automation here. And this automation is gonna be for logged in users, and then confirm. All right, so here our trigger, so we're gonna call this send webhook. So I'm gonna do a webhook here, just to distinguish this. So discussion webhook. So the trigger, of course, is going to be, so we're going to say BuddyBoss, and we're going to say when someone replies to a topic. So when a user replies to a topic, remember, it's going to be to a topic in any forum one time, right? And then we're going to say the action we want is to send the webhook. So you're going to jump down here, and let's find webhooks. So we're going to send the webhook. Send webhook data. Now open this up, then you can start setting what you want to send in that webhook. So it's kind of like the same thing that I've done here with Uncanny Automator. When any topic, a user replies to any topic in any forum, send a webhook. Now we're gonna set up the webhook. So for this webhook, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna put my my webhook URL here. So remember, we got the webhook URL from this Airtable automations, and we set webhook received as the trigger for this automation in Airtable, and then you copy that. So I'm gonna put that here. You want to set the request method to post, and then you want to send that as a JSON. And then for the headers, of course, you can always add a header here. So you're going to add the header. You're going to do accept an application/JSON. So I'm going to do the same thing here. So I'm going to copy this. So the webhook URL, I'm going to do the same thing here. Post, request form, JSON. And then for the headers, remember, the same thing that we're doing here. This is accept application/JSON. So I'm going to copy that. So I'm going to come here. I'll call this accept. And then I'll do application/JSON. And then the key pairs. Now the key pairs is actually the actual data that you're going to be sending forth. So the way a JSON object works is you have a key and a pair, right? So the key is like the name of the variable, and then the key pair means like the key and the value. So the name of the variable and the value that you're sending forth. So in this case, I've gone here, I've created this key pair. So you're just gonna do the same thing if you're using automated WP. So we're gonna go here and copy all of this and paste this here. So you get the drift, right? So you can add more here. So I'm just gonna do this real quick. Okay, so I've set up all my keys. Then for the value, this is where now we're going to use the tokens that are returned to us from this trigger here. I've done the same thing here already with Uncanny Automator. So you're going to use the tokens that are returned to you here. Of course, if you want to grab a token, you just click on this, and then if you drop down on that, see, this is called action template, right? So you have your tree. This is your action template here. So I'm gonna go down here, and then you can find whatever you want to send out, right? So that's how I map this. So let's do that for automated WP. So we're gonna do the same thing here. We're going to map the same, data, of course, from the tokens that are returned from this trigger here, just like I've done here. So you get the drift, right? So you can do that with automated WP, but I'm just gonna complete the rest of this tutorial with Uncanny. So right here, I've mapped all of these tokens. So this one will return the forum title and map it to this key forum, and just like that, right? And so once I'm done with all of these, you can just go ahead and click save. Now, if you want to check whether this is actually coming through, right? So you can go ahead here and either check the data format just to make sure that everything, checks out, right? Once you click that, it checks that, or then you can send a test, right? So we're gonna do that so that we can kind of get the schema of that webhook payload. So right now we haven't tested anything yet, so let's go ahead and test this. So I'm just gonna go here and send the test. Now we've sent that test, so let's go back to here. Now you can see that it was successful, right? So if I come here, look at the payload, right? So forum ID, topic ID, reply count, member, date, after. So this is already here in Airtable. So I'm going to use this now to populate this table right here, right? So you can come here. This is that payload. Now let's set an action. The action we want is to create a record. So we're going to, now it's important that you say create record. So what's going to happen is every time somebody replies to a specific topic in any forum, Uncanny Automator or Automated WP will push that data that we have already mapped out, which is just this. It will push this out to Airtable, and then Airtable will use that to create a record. So I'm gonna say create a record here. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna select the table. So we're gonna select this table 1, and then we just jump in here. Now we're going to choose fields. So you can see here it will populate all the fields in that table. So I'm going to say forum ID. Now this plus icon here will actually give you the option to now select what you want. So in this case, I'm going to come here and I'm going to say forum ID. All right, and then I'm going to choose another one. In this case, we're going to go to forum. We're going to map that to forum, and then we'll keep going. Topic ID. We're going to also map that to topic ID here. Put another field, topic, and then we're going to go to topic here. Member. We're going to set this to member. We're going to go here, choose reply count. We're going to set this here to reply count, date. And again, of course, you can see if you don't see this plus icon, what you have to just do is click this wrench icon here, or this gear icon, and then just choose dynamic. So you click on dynamic, and then the plus icon will show up, and then that way you can select what you want. So in this case, we're doing date, and then the last one is the avatar. And so we're gonna go back in, and then we're gonna choose the avatar, right? And now, if you want to see what it's gonna look like, let's generate a preview here. And then the preview will, just kind of give us an idea of what data is going to look like. So it says could not convert string to date. So that means, so let's send the real data so that this would actually, make sense. So right now we've mapped all of the fields that we want to use to create this record. And then what we just have to now do is just to turn on this webhook. Okay. Now let's go over here. Now, all you just now need to just do is to now go to your WordPress front end and then go ahead and create a reply to a discussion so that, let me make sure I've saved this. So we've got this, we tested this, and I'll click save here. And this is turned on, and this is happens, then we should send it over there. Perfect. All right, now, so let's jump in here. Let's go to forums. Let's pick one of these forums here. Let's do leadership development. Now I'm going to respond, let's say authority and vulnerability. I'm going to respond to this one. All right, and then here click reply. I'm going to say reply testing, anything. And then once you submit this, now what's going to happen is Uncanny is going to catch that as a trigger and then send that data to Airtable, right? So let's jump to Airtable. Can you see right here? The data has been created right here. Look at that. I have a bunch of extraneous materials here. Let me just delete all these guys first. Delete selected. Perfect. Look at that. So now we have forum ID, the title of the forum, the topic ID, the title of the topic, the member who completed that, and then reply count, the date it was completed, and the avatar. So you can see here the avatar is showing up because we set this as an attachment, right? Now what you now need to just do is now sit back and watch this data grow. So I'm gonna go ahead and generate a whole bunch of replies on my platform so that I can have data in here, and then we're gonna jump into how to now use this data to create a dashboard, a metrics dashboard here in Airtable. So let's jump into that part.